a revolution, a hostage crisis. And from that moment forward, a very specific image of Iran became fixed in the international imagination, and it has barely moved since. But it is dramatically incomplete. What gets left out of the story is what this documentary is about. Confirmed, documented, sourced, that contradict the dominant narrative so sharply that most people, when they first encounter them, assume they must be wrong. They have simply been consistently underreported, framed narrowly, or ignored altogether in favor of coverage that fits a more legible geopolitical story. Here are 15 of them. According to UNESCO data, Iran's adult literacy rate surpassed 97% by the early 2020s. That's not a projection or an estimate. More striking is what happened to women's education specifically after 1979. Despite the political restrictions of the Islamic Republic, female enrollment in Iranian universities actually grew dramatically in the decades following the revolution. A figure confirmed by World Bank development data. This doesn't mean Iranian women face no discrimination, but the picture is more complicated than the one usually presented. The second truth is about the population. It is, statistically, one of the youngest nations on Earth. As of the most recent UN population data, the median age in Iran hovers around 32, which means the majority of Iranians have no personal memory of the Shah, no lived relationship with the founding ideology of the Islamic Republic, and no particular attachment to the political conflicts that dominate Western coverage. This is not a footnote. It is the central fact of Iranian political life, and it explains almost everything about the ongoing tension between Iranian society and its government, not under pressure from the West, but by choice, and administered in part through the mosque system. By the 1990s, the Iranian government had reversed its post-revolution encouragement of large families and launched a state-sponsored contraception and family education program. Iran's fertility rate dropped from around 6 children per woman in the 1980s to approximately 2 by the 2000s, one of the steepest demographic transitions ever recorded. It almost never appears in standard coverage of Iran. The fourth truth is geographic and historical. This seems obvious when stated directly, but the conflation happens constantly in casual media coverage, in political commentary, and in public perception. Iran is Persian. Its majority population identifies with a pre-Islamic civilization that predates the Arab conquests by more than 1,000 years. The distinction matters not just culturally, but geopolitically. The rivalry between Iran and Saudi Arabia, for instance, is not only religious, it is deeply ethnic, historical, and strategic. The fifth truth is about cities. Tehran is a metropolis of roughly 17 million people in the greater metropolitan area, according to UN urban data. Journalists who have reported from inside Tehran, including correspondents for major outlets who were granted access. This is not to minimize the reality of political repression. That repression is real, documented by Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch across multiple annual reports. The sixth truth is one that requires more careful framing, because it touches on something genuinely disputed. There is a significant body of travel journalism that consistently describes Iranian hospitality toward foreign visitors, including Western visitors, as remarkable by any international standard. Travelers have reported being invited into homes within hours of arrival, offered meals by strangers, accompanied through cities by locals who refused payment. But the consistency of the reports across independent sources over many years is striking. Whether this represents a cultural tradition, a deliberate social negotiation around political conditions, or something else is an open interpretive question. The seventh truth involves cinema. Iran produces some of the most internationally acclaimed films in the world. The Iranian film industry has won major awards at Cannes, Berlin, and the Academy Awards. Abbas Kiarostami's Palme d'Or, Asghar Farhadi's 2 Oscar wins for Best Foreign Language Film. And yet, the existence of a thriving, government-negotiated but artistically sophisticated film culture inside the Islamic Republic is something that fundamentally complicates the narrative of Iran as a uniformly repressive, culturally barren state. The tensions Iranian filmmakers navigate, creating work that is internationally celebrated while operating under censorship and political surveillance. The 8th truth is economic and structural, and it requires some precision because it touches on contested territory. Iran has the world's 2nd largest natural gas reserves and the 4th largest proven oil reserves, according to US. Despite decades of sanctions, Iran has maintained a functioning, diversified economy that includes agriculture, manufacturing, and a significant non-oil private sector. The sanctions have caused serious economic damage. Inflation, currency devaluation, and imported goods shortages are real and measurable. But the picture of Iran as an economy on the verge of collapse has been predicted and re-predicted for decades without the collapse materializing. The 9th truth is about protest, specifically about what protest inside Iran actually indicates. Each wave has been interpreted internationally as evidence of imminent regime change. None has produced it. Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch have documented serious violent crackdowns. What it is a record. Iranian society contains genuine, serious, documented opposition to its government. It also contains constituencies that support the government, that distrust Western intentions, and that hold views about sovereignty and foreign interference shaped by a history that includes a CIA-backed coup in 1953. That history is not hypothetical. It is one of the most documented covert operations of the 20th century, confirmed in declassified US. The 10th truth follows directly from that. The 1953 coup is not ancient history in Iran, it is living political memory. The joint CIA and British intelligence operation that overthrew Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh, a democratically elected leader who had nationalized Iran's oil industry, is cited routinely by Iranian officials, intellectuals, and ordinary citizens as the foundational explanation for why Iran does not trust Western governments. When Iranian leaders express suspicion of American intentions, that suspicion is typically framed as irrational paranoia or propaganda. Whether or not one accepts the Iranian government's characterizations of current events, the historical basis for the distrust, government archives, deserves to be part of every serious conversation about the relationship. Iran is constitutionally an Islamic republic, and religious law is woven into its legal structure. But surveys of Iranian public opinion consistently suggest that religious observance among young Iranians has declined significantly since the revolution. The enforcement of religious codes by the state has not corresponded to a deepening of personal religious identity among the population. This is not a secret inside Iran. It is a source of genuine political tension that shapes the relationship between the government and its citizens in ways that don't fit cleanly into the Islamic fundamentalism frame used in most international coverage. The 12th truth is about science. Iran has a significant domestic scientific research capacity. The country has sent satellites into orbit. It has a domestic nuclear energy program. None of this negates the serious questions that exist about Iran's nuclear activities. But science and technology in Iran exist on a scale that is rarely communicated to international audiences, and the existence of a significant domestic technical and intellectual class has implications for how the country's future is likely to unfold. The 13th truth involves women in ways that are both better and worse than the standard narrative. It is documented that Iranian women face serious legal inequality. Mandatory hijab laws enforced by the state legal testimony valued at half that of men in certain contexts, restrictions on travel without male guardian permission. These are facts confirmed in Iranian law and documented by human rights organizations. They are not in dispute, and less frequently discussed is that Iranian women participate in public life, professional life, and cultural life at rates that are not consistent with the image of total seclusion. The coexistence of legal discrimination and public participation is uncomfortable and contradictory. It is also real. The Iranian diaspora, concentrated heavily in the United States, Europe, and Canada, Iranian Americans, as a demographic group, have among the highest rates of graduate degrees of any immigrant population in the United States, according to census and academic data. The existence of a large, educated, politically engaged diaspora with active ties to Iran shapes both the flow of information about the country and the political pressures on Western governments dealing with the Iranian government. The diaspora is not monolithic. It contains people who support the Islamic Republic, people who oppose it, and every position in between. The 15th truth is the one that ties all the others together, and it is the most uncomfortable to state directly. The dominant image of Iran in Western media is not entirely false. It does fund armed groups in neighboring countries, as confirmed by intelligence assessments from multiple governments. It does suppress political dissent, restrict press freedom, and maintain a judicial system that applies punishments widely condemned by international human rights bodies. None of that is fabricated. A country with a 3,000-year history, a rich literary tradition that produced Hafez and Rumi, a young population navigating the gap between what their government represents and what they want their lives to be, cannot be adequately understood through any single frame, especially not through a frame that was largely built in 1979 and hasn't been substantially updated since. Those are the wrong questions for documentary journalism. The right question is simpler and harder. What are we missing when the story we tell about a place stays the same for more than 40 years? If this kind of coverage matters to you, journalism that tries to fill the gaps rather than repeat the frame. Because the most dangerous assumption in geopolitics is the one that feels the most certain.